Hey Megan, how are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm not sure if you remember me. We had spoken about Holly Darlin before. I had a lot
Oh,
more facial hair.
yeah. Oh, you look fantastic.
Thank you, thank
I
you.
got rid of mine too, so
Oh, I could tell. I
both
saw a
clean
little
shaven,
bit
yes.
left up here, and I wasn't going to talk about it.
Listen, the pandemic was rough. It was rough.
You've got one chin hair left. I like how you say pandemic was rough, like it's not anymore.
No. It's no. It's getting better. It's better than it was. It was really rough. Now it's just we're just navigating it.
Well, that had actually led me into a question about season six. So
Yes.
obviously, this pandemic's still happening, but
Hmm.
like you said, it's kind of more learning how to navigate it as it goes. And I know the pandemic was already happening when we spoke last time.
Yeah.
So I was curious about how things have changed or lightened up when you did this season.
Um, it was great because, I got to work a little bit more last year between like July and December. Everything rightfully shut down again in January and got pushed. So I'm in a bit of a holding pattern, but I'm grateful for getting to go work the times that I did. I just I don't know. I feel like the last couple of years have just made me deeply grateful for things that I may have taken for granted before and just kind of assumed would kind of always be there. I don't know. Um, so yeah, it was rough. It was really rough, but it's getting better.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about happier things like a bunch of musical trolls. Um,
Yay!
this is season six, so obviously TrollsTopia is also something that isn't going anywhere anytime soon. Has been happening for quite a long time, and now that you're in season six, you've had so much character growth for Holly Darlin. You've seen a really long arc for her now, and I know you had expressed how important the character is to you last time we talked. Um, do you think that there's anything in this season, if for fans who haven't checked out on Hulu yet, that there is specifically like growth for Holly Darlin or something a little different in her character that may not have been present in the past?
Right. Yeah, there's one episode where she was working really hard to be friends with someone. And where I think she may have thought that it was just always easy. There's a specific episode where she has to start learning how to work with somebody else that might not necessarily be on her same wavelength. And it's just never, I'm trying to not give anything away.
Oh, well, yeah, I get it.
Yeah, so sorry if it sounds like I'm like treading just a little lightly. I don't want to give anything away, but I love this episode because it really kind of stretches Miss Holly Darlin and makes her work hard at something that she thought was just going to be easy always.
Oh, yeah, and that's a really good way to put it, especially because in season six, there are new musical trolls that are being encountered, trolls from different tribes. Um, can you speak to like which of the tribes or like um, are there any characters that are new this season that you have met, Holly Dillon has interacted with that you feel like kind of made more of an impression on you than the others?
I don't know. I
Is it
don't
like asking you to
know.
pick between your kids?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. Yeah, cuz I think the show is designed to kind of show that well, I don't know. I don't know. I can't speak to one specific character because that one character that I was talking about, she's not new. It's Minuet, guys. It's Minuet. Like that. That's what but she's not new. I guess is she considered? She's not considered new. She's as new as Holly is. Um, yeah, I don't know. I'm so sorry. I don't know how to answer that question.
And that's okay. I'm
I'm
glad I
so
can stump
sorry.
you with
You
something.
stumped me.
That's my job. I'm supposed to try to. You were too good for me last time. I had to bring out some heavy hitters.
You got
Um,
me.
so then let's talk more about Holly Darlin and any musical performances or musical work that you may have done in this season.
Oh
Um,
my
uh,
gosh. Yeah.
as you obviously, we've talked before about your like extensive musical background, and the credits that you have, but what kind of music did you personally have to bring to this season?
Do you mean like
Yeah, like
Holly's
let
songs?
me yeah, let me
Yeah.
rephrase it a little bit. Like what kind of musical experience from your past did you have to apply to the songs in this?
Oh. Oh, that's interesting. Because I think and I might be reading into this a little bit too much, but I feel like all of the um all of the characters kind of started out in their own genre, and now their songs are starting to be like their genres are starting to be affected by the genres that they are around more now. So I feel like the stuff that Holly, it got increasingly more like poppy, you know.
Spending more
Just a
time
little
around
bit. And
that,
again, yeah, again, I might be reading into it a little bit too much, but I think being around different styles kind of affected them musically too in a really wonderful way. Um, and as far as my background, I started pulling from the things that I had to learn really quickly on Smash in doing the pop songs because that was way out of my comfort zone. Uh, Recording pop songs coming from a musical theater world where the goal is to sing to the back of the house, you know, because kind of be as loud as you can and get everybody to
right?
hear you. And now it's really super nuanced and super when it's closer it is more um I don't know the word that I'm looking for.
Neither do I, but I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Like because my ex was in theater, music theater as well. But like you're kind of like pinpointing, and not uh, like you said when you sing to the back of the like when you're doing Wicked, you're singing to the back of the audience. You have a whole thing, and then this is, I
Yeah.
guess, like you have to make it more directed um,
Mm-hmm.
to the recording.
Yep. Yeah. And it the proximity of your audience is now this microphone that's right in front of you. So it's what is that word that I'm looking for? It's like not personal, but mm, I'll think of it at like 3 o'clock in the morning, and then I'll call you and say, Joe, this is the word. This is the
Yeah,
word.
they'll email it to me and I'll include it in the article. But yeah, so I totally understand what you mean then with that. Were there any because obviously all the trolls, all the different tribes of trolls have different music, just like all the trolls do, that we've seen in the past. Were there any like different musical influences that came in this season that you would like to see um, um, influence Holly Darlin's
Oh my
moving
gosh.
forward?
Yeah, I mean, I I would love to see a collaboration with Holly Darlin and Low Note Jones. That would be a dream. That would be magic.
Low Note Jones, I love it.
Yes, yes, Low Note. Yeah, that's what I would like to see. Yeah.
Nice. And if it's not, even if it's not a collaboration, you could see, some of that kind of, can you see Holly Darlin's music style changing and adapting to bring in some of these new things that she's being exposed to, or at least like
Oh,
maybe not even
absolutely.
just Holly Darlin, but the trolls that Holly Darlin is used to, like her pack. Do you think that that's going to evolve going forward based on the different genres of music that are being introduced to them?
Oh, absolutely. I think that, yeah, but again, I don't know if I'm reading too far into it, but I think that that's exactly what I'm seeing throughout the course of these 6 seasons, um, is that they're all, they come in pretty set in their ways. And then once they're, spending so much time and singing with people who sing in different genres, I think it's turning into something a little different, which is awesome.
So for people who maybe are not caught up with TrollsTopia and are fans of Holly Darlin from the beginning, what can you say, like, would you say the biggest difference is between Holly Darlin now and where she was when she first started?
Oh, don't
Maybe with
know.
the heavy hitters today.
Yeah, I don't know. I think she's definitely, especially in this last season, I think she's kind of been tested a lot in ways that she has never really been. And going back to that same episode, we just watched it like this morning. Was that this morning or no, it couldn't have been this morning. It was probably yesterday.
With the new app.
The Fast Friends episode. And like, I think she's just getting tested a little bit more than she has in the past. Where everything just kind of was easy for her. And if it wasn't, she was like, well, we're just gonna do it this way anyway. And now I think that I think she's being tested, and she's rising to the occasion each time she's doing it, you know, as only Holly Darlin can.
Now, I
Big and
guess
loud and fun. Yeah.
kind of an odd question for you. Outside of Holly Darlin, is there another troll that you feel like you could bring your voice to and kind of do a spin on to make a little different than Holly Darlin if you needed to step into those shoes?
To another troll. No, I can't, because it's cast so brilliantly that like I can't imagine anybody else doing any of those. I would be horrified to like try
Well,
to.
less even filling in, but maybe like if you were going to portray another one of them, which of
Oh,
them do you
well,
think
so
is
I
in your
do
wheelhouse?
I
Or
do additional voices all the time for like incidental trolls, here and there. And my go-tos are a rock one and a classical one. And they're so much fun. So I would say a rock troll and a classical troll, because I do them all the time, and we have a lot of fun. You probably can't even hear the things that I'm saying, but they just let me kind of play around with background things.
well, that's cool. That's cool. You
Yeah.
probably have even a little bit more freedom there with the background things than you
Oh,
do with
totally.
Holly Darlin.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And like the worst that can happen, they just erase it and say, stop being so silly.
You still got to enjoy it.
Yeah.
So I think we're almost out of time. So then let me ask you, is there anything that I or most reporters don't ask you regarding TrollsTopia or Holly Darlin that you would like to share with audiences?
Um, that I cannot wait for her spinoff. No, she doesn't have a spinoff. No,
Let's
I
push
don't
that
know.
now.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm really pushing for a solo. No, I'm just like, this show is such like a bright, shining light in an otherwise what can be considered a very dark time.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful to be a part of something that brings people joy and has brought me so much. I feel so selfish, because I just look forward to these recording sessions so much. As much fun as it is to watch, it's even more fun to do, because the group of people that make this show happen is just pure magic. So anytime I see that on the schedule, I'm like, oh, thank goodness, that's gonna be so fun. You know,
To piggyback on something that you mentioned there with, let's say Holly Darling did get a spinoff show. What would you see? What would you see, like, really shortly? What would your pitch be? What would you see happening in a world that surrounds Holly Darling?
well, you couldn't do like a show about Holly without Delta Dawn, Kelly Clarkson's character from the film. So I feel like the two of it would kind of be a buddy show. That's what I would really like to see in the spinoff, is the two of them, maybe bringing other trolls back to the country western tribe, and seeing how that goes.
Okay, well, thank you again so much for speaking with me. I had a great time. Can't wait to talk to you for the next season or the spinoff.
Thanks, Joe. Yeah, for me and Kelly Clarkson's show.
You make sure you stay safe.
You too. Thanks, Joe.
Thank you.